So I just want to say something real quick. I was just watching the video on Instagram. He was talking about doing the research into the Scottish family connection to the Moorish family, the Stuarts, the Tudors, who the Tudors became the conquistadors that were doing vile things, during the Renaissance era. And he kept saying the Renaissance era is when the whitewash began, right? So then it reminded me of this dream that I had before Renaissance came out of Beyonce. And basically, what happened was in my dream, it was like we was performing. I was performing with Beyonce and Kelly. Kelly was just like herself. She the brown, beautiful skin, but she just had one eye. That's the only thing. But I knew it was Kelly. She only had one eye though. And then Beyonce, and there was a room full of people, and it was like we was doing like some type of like small intimate like karaoke or something with a group of people, and then it went from that to like I went to the bathroom after the performance ended and I came back and Beyonce was sitting at the head of a table with Kelly, and it was other people there, but that's just my focus was just on them, and then the audience was sitting at the table. It was kind of like one of those like women's meeting or something because it was only women in there. And I walked in and I went back to the table, and she was saying to everyone needs to learn or needs to research the 12 names of God. And it was like, okay, I feel like I'm supposed to be writing down or taking notes or whatever. And earlier that day, I was doing readings at a fair, and it was day 2 of 2. And the lady that was sitting next to me had like a riff or something against my nephew, and how the way he was acting, but he wasn't doing anything like he wasn't antagonizing her, but she felt antagonized by him somehow. So she came in the morning when I was sitting at my table, and she already didn't want me to sit where I was sitting, and that there was a big gap between us, like huge gap between us. So I was just like, okay, whatever. And then it was another lady next to me who read handwriting. So I'm sitting at the table. She walks over in the morning, day 2, and just starts telling me that I'm basically a bad mother. I'm a bad, example for him and all this other stuff. And I was sitting down, and she was like loud. Everyone that was getting ready started turning and looking towards us. So then I'm like, hold up. So I stood up. I set my stuff down. I was like, okay, this is getting out of hand. I stood up and I looked at her and I put my hand on my hip, like, or at least in my head I did. And I was just standing there like, what do you want? What do you want? Like, that's what I kept saying in my head. Like, what does this lady want? Do she want me to rock her shit? Like what is it? I don't understand. So basically my response to her was, even though my heart was like, whoo, calm down, on the inside, on the outside it was like, I apologized to her if whatever my nephew was doing that I wasn't aware of that was, egging her on, because I can only do so much. I'm flesh and blood too. That part of me exists too. I have limitations because I'm flesh. So I apologize on that behalf, but as for everything else, you not about to talk to me like that, because you're not my mama. You do not run me. You're not my authority. So you need to okay, and you got a 10, I need you at a 0, like, type shit. So somebody else ended up coming over, and like she walked away eventually, and I sat at the table and I got so emotional about it. And it was Taurus season, but it was something about something about cancer. I don't know if the moon was in Cancer or something like that. But then I just got this messages like, niggas really like took our stuff and said it was bad, and now they trying to sell it back to us. Like, that's what came to my head. And then I ended up having that dream and a dream about someone else, which I ended up dreaming that this person that from my past that I knew was them and their spouse was about to have another baby, and they hadn't told anyone yet. But I had a dream and I just reached out like, you about to have a baby? And I was right. But that dream with Beyonce was about something about getting to know or learning the 12 names of God. You need to learn the 12 names of God. And then Renaissance came out. And I was glued to that album. Glued to that album. And then my sister, it's 18 months between us. She was also glued. Beyonce's probably biggest fan ever. But she was glued too. But it's like having a moment like that. And I've dreamt about, laughing with T.I. I've dreamt about just stuff like that. And it's like, good news, great news. Okay, basically what I'm trying to say is linking what he was saying about Renaissance. We're in a 555. We're in a Renaissance right now, right? We're seeing the emergence. Like, this Black History Month is not just about Black History Month. It's not about the programming. It's something way deeper than that, because this is about the earth returning to herself. We're returning to ourselves right now. We're taking our power back. This is the Renaissance. Okay, it's not nobody else telling our story. We've learned how to receive our own stories now. So don't pay attention to the bullshit. Don't pay attention to the bullshit, because these is like little traps, tests. Like, are you who you say you are? Are you who you say you are? Because Aquarius energy is asking this of all of us, because Pisces is going to be the delusion, or the diluting of the lies. So don't fall for the traps, okay? Remember the 12 names of God. And all 12, which really, because we got 12 cranial nerves, 12 this, 12 that. 12 breaks down to a 3, which is going to Jupiter. Jupiter rules Pisces and Sagittarius, but 12 would be Pisces, right? And this is the end of the Pisces age, Neptune, Aries, right? So if you're still here, if you made it this far, 7 minutes in, we're going live tomorrow, Tuesday, February 3rd, to discuss the February 2026 energy for all 12 signs. And yeah, just follow me for more, or DM me if you want the link. I'll send everything to you. But yeah, if you are tuned in, you're tapped in, you're turned on, you know that this is a renaissance of our energy. And it's not about, going from like this power to this power. And it's like, yes, that technically is the shift in dynamic, but because Black is love. Because Black is love. Black is love. Melanin is love. And that's what I put on Twitter. My Twitter was like, if we could change like the name, because they changed it from, the indigenous, they changed it to Black, to Negro, to African, like they mulatto, they made all this shit up, okay, trying to tell us. So I'm like, could we just say melanin? If we all agree, could we just change it to melanin instead of calling each other Black? And then they would have to say that shit. It was just a thought,